people. I'm going to try to get my green screen up. Wow. Let's see. This is on a new phone, I think. I'm trying to do the best I can, people. I'm telling you. It's weird. Okay. Okay, I think some of y'all are gonna be wondering, uh will I be reading The Hobbit? Yeah, hell yeah. I'm sorry, heck yeah. No, I will be reading The Hobbits since I have the illustrious extended edition. Thank you very much. I do. Um, no, you don't. I don't believe you. If you have missed the taping of the unveiling, and while I was griping over the boxes because the cover wasn't adequately, didn't even have this imprint like what we see of a map outside of the box. This is kind of a disappointment. Uh, oh yeah, I'm on it. People. See, it didn't have anything. Nothing. It was blah. There's nothing on here. But I went through it, and of course, those who already know. Ooh, isn't that beautiful? Of course, it's skinnier, and it comes with another book. Anthems, treasury writings, including a brief history of and other works related to The Hobbit by JRR Tolkien. So, it talks about a little bit of history and some imprints and stuff, illustrations and whatever else. Hopefully, I will do a side deal, and I'll put some. I guess I'll post some stuff up, but not everything. I guess. Other than that, yeah. So this is gonna be cool. So yeah. Gold leaf on the sides and stuff. Beautiful, beautiful. But anyway. So once you with your book in, bro. Explain. Ask that book in what the explanation is. Well, whatever. But anyway. It's not my ex-boyfriend. Sure. It's not Gary. But hopefully I'll make that one day, move one day soon, so I won't have to worry about that situation. But anyway, I shouldn't have to. Okay. But, oh. Mm. I'm going to close this up. So everyone should be on page 820. 820. I can put this up. And everyone should be, let's see, yeah, 820. Chapter 4, The Siege of Gondor, Book 5. Within the Return of the King, extended edition, Lord of the Rings Trilogy. There you go, by JRR Tolkien. Got that out of the way. And let's go ahead and start reading. What I'm gonna be doing? I'm gonna disappear. Okay, there you go. Anyway, okay. Now, the main retreat was scarcely 2 furlongs distant. Out of the gloom behind, a small company of horsemen galloped. All that was left of the rear guard. Once again, they turned at bay, facing the oncoming lines of fire. Then suddenly, there was a tumult of fierce cries. Horsemen of the enemy swept up. The lines of fire became flowing torrents. File upon file of orcs bearing flames, and wild Southron men with red banners shouting with harsh tongues, surging up, overtaking the retreat, and with a piercing cry out of the dim sky fell the winged shadows. The Nazgul, stooping to the kill. The retreat became a rout. Already men breaking away, flying wild and witless here and there, flinging away their weapons, crying out in fear, falling to the ground. And then a trumpet rang from the citadel, and Denethor at last released the sortie. Drawn up within the shadow of the gate and under the looming walls, outside they had waited for his signal, and all mounted men that were left in the city. Now they sprang forward, formed, quickened to a gallop, and charged with a great shout. And from the walls an answering shout went up. Foremost on the field rode the sworn knights of Dol Amroth, with the prince and his blue banner at their head. Amroth for Gondor, they cried. Amroth to Faramir. Like thunder, they broke upon the enemy on either flank of the retreat. But one rider outran them all, swift as the wind in the grass. Shadowfax before him, shining, unveiled once more. A light starting from his upraised hand. The nozzle screeched and slipped away, where the captain was not yet come to challenge the white fire of his foe. The host of Morgul, intent on their prey, taking at unawares a wild career, broke scattered like sparks in a gale. The elk companies with a great cheer turned and smote their pursuers. Hunters became the hunted. The retreat became an onslaught. The field was strewn with stricken orcs and men. And the reek arose of torches cast away, sputtering out in swirling smoke. The cavalry rode on. But Denethor did not permit them to go far. Though the enemy was shaken and for the moment driven back, great forces were flowing from the east. Again the trumpet rang, sounding the retreat. The cavalry of Gondor halted. Behind their screen the elk companies reformed. Now steadily they came marching back. They reached the gate of the city and entered, stepping proudly. And proudly the people of the city looked on them and cried their praise. And yet they were troubled in heart. For the companies were grievously reduced. Faramir had lost a third of his men. And where was he? Last of all he came. His men passed in. The mounting knights returned, and at the rear the banner of Dol Amroth and the prince, and in arms before them on his horse. He bore the body of his kinsman, Faramir, son of Denethor, bound upon the stricken field. Faramir, men cried, weeping in the streets. But he did not answer, and they bore him away up the winding road to the citadel and his father. Even as the Nazgul had swerved aside from the onset of the White Rider, there came flying a deadly dart. Faramir, as he held at bay a mounted champion of Harad, had fallen to the earth. Only the charge of Dol Amroth had saved him from the red Southland swords that would have hewed him as they lay. The Prince of Amroth brought Faramir to the White Tower, and he said, "Your son has returned, Lord, after great deeds." And he told all that he had seen. But Denethor rose and looked on the face of his own son and was silent. And then he bade them to make a bed in the chamber and lay Faramir upon it and depart. But he himself went up alone into the secret room under the summit of the tower. And many who looked up thither at the time saw a pale light that gleamed and flickered from the narrow windows for a while, and then flashed and went out. And then Denethor descended again. He went to Faramir and sat beside him without speaking, but the face of the Lord was gray, more deathlike than his sons. So now, at last, the city was besieged and closed in a ring of foes. The Ramos was broken, and all the Pelennor abandoned to the enemy. The last word to come from outside the walls was brought by men flying down the northward road. Ere the gate was shut, they were the remnant of the guard that was kept at the point where the way from Anarion and Rohan ran into the townlands. Ingeld led them, the same who had admitted Gandalf and Pippin less than 5 days before, while the sun still rose and there was hope in the morning. There is no news of the Rohirrim, he said. Rohan will not come now, or if they come, it will not avail us. The new host that we had tidings of has come first from over the river by way of Andros. It is said they are strong, battalions of orcs of the eye, and countless companies of men of a new sort that we have not met before, nor not tall, but broad and grim, bearded like dwarfs, wielding great axes. Out of some savage land in the wide east they come, we deem. They hold the northward road, and many have passed on to Anarion. The Rohirrim cannot come. The gate was shut. All night watchmen on the walls heard the rumor of the enemy that roamed outside, burning field and tree, and hewing any man that they found abroad, living or dead. The numbers that had already passed over the river could not be guessed in the darkness, but when morning, or its dim shadow, stole over the plain, it was seen that even fear by night had scarcely overcounted them. The plain was dark with their marching companies, and as far as eyes could strain in the murk there sprouted, like a foul fungus growth, all about the beleaguered city, great camps of tents, black or somber red. Busy as ants hurrying orcs were digging lines of deep trenches in the huge ring, just out of bow shot from the walls. And as the trenches were made, each was filled with fire, though how it was kindled or fed by art or devilry none could see. All day the labor went forward, while the men of Minas Tirith looked on, unable to hinder it. And as each length of trench was completed, they could see great rains approaching, and soon yet more companies of the enemy were swiftly setting up, each behind the caliber of a trench, great engines for the casting of missiles. There were none upon the city walls large enough to reach so far or to stay the work. At first, men laughed and did not gently fear such devices, for the main wall of the city was of great height and marvelous thickness, built eerie the power of craft of Nimonu, reigned in exile, and its outward face was like to the tower of Orthanc, hard and dark and smooth. Unconquerable by steel or fire, unbreakable except by some convulsion that would wring the very earth of which it stood. Nay, they said, not if the nameless one himself should come, not even could enter here while we yet live. But some answered, while we yet live? How long? He has a weapon that has brought low many strong places since the world began. Hunger. The roads are cut. Rohan will not come. But the engines did not waste upon the indomitable wall. It was no brigade. Excuse me. Our Orc chieftain and ordered the assault upon the mortal's greatest foe. In power and might, the males guarded it. And soon the great catapults were set, with many yells and fruit of road in which they began to throw missiles marvelously high, so that they passed right above the battlement. Oh, excuse me, and fell thudding within the first circle of the city. And many of them, by some secret art, burst into flame as they came toppling down. Okay, I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to stop and begin later on 823. And then hopefully we'll finish then the next time we read. And the next chapter will be chapter 5, The Rite of the River. So, okay, everyone can go ahead and, well, you pretty much know what's going to happen, but what you could talk about. What is going on now? I know a lot of people talk about the differences between the movie and the book, but that you may start there too. But anyway, people, as I always say, do something cool, but make sure you don't hurt yourself or someone else while doing it. Okay. Take care. Laters.